This meeting is being recorded.
Perfect. All right. So, Shannon, ultimately, I know that you and I got started together, and you have such an incredible start to your journey. So go ahead and just share kind of your story on how you got started and what the road to Ruby, essentially, we'll start with that, what it looked like for you.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so I will go back a little bit in my story. So I was actually first introduced to these products from Jessica from a HAP in 2018. I don't remember exactly when. It must have been early on because very shortly after I got pregnant and could not continue on with my weight loss products, obviously. And then flash forward, my son was 10 months old and I found them in my cupboard. And I said to Jess, hey, Jess, can I use these? I really need to lose weight. I was my heaviest. I think I was close to 200 pounds. I was pretty close up there. And she was like, well, no, it's coffee and it's expired. So you probably shouldn't use it. And like looking back now, I'm like, that's so gross. But I drank it anyways. And I ended up losing 10 pounds my first month using this expired product. So I went back to Jess and I was like, look, I need to keep using this. I'm feeling so much better about myself, but there's absolutely no way that we can afford this. Like, what can I do? And that's when she introduced the business opportunity to me. I actually remember we got on a phone call. Which I think people forget a lot of the times. I can remember I was driving with my friend in the car and I had her on the car speaker. So like some of these memories that you have, right? Like the impact that Jess made on me, just that personal approach. I want to say we were on the phone for like 45 minutes. I also asked a lot of questions, but she was super patient with me. And that also kind of like made me feel good about it. And knowing that we marketed a little bit differently, again, she answered all of my questions. And I came into this business to earn $100 a month because that was going to pay for my product. I honestly did not even think that that was possible. I had done a different business before this and absolutely flopped. I did not have a single customer. Zero. It was awful. Spent a ton of money on products and samples and bugging my friends and family, and nobody was into it. So obviously very nervous coming into this. My husband was actually really against it as well. He did not want me to do it. But I said to him, I just feel like there's something different. And again, I feel like a huge part of that was that connection that Jess made with me over the phone. It honestly made a really, really big impact. So coming into this, getting started, Jess had training videos, which was so helpful. I can remember watching them and listening to them. And a big thing for me was HAPS. HAPS was a big thing. And just following the training, sending a ton of screenshots, because that was my biggest thing too, is that I did not know what to say to people. Like, I am not overly confident. Like if you see me in public, I am probably not going to like say hi. I'm not the type of person that's just going to walk up to people and be like, oh, hi, talk about this, blah, 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 blah. I am an introvert, believe it or not. I need my quiet time. I need no people. Yeah. So going through how to talk to people, just sending Jessica every single screenshot, just being on the West Coast. And I am in Ontario. I'm pretty sure she probably woke up to like at least 20 screenshots every single morning. I can remember at one point she was like, Shannon, I can't even work my own business. But I tell everyone that that's what we want now, because I attribute so much of my success to putting in that time to learning how to word things, how to talk to people about their goals, right? Learning how we approach that and how we are kind of a little bit of a coach for people in a sense, right? We're trying to match them with the right product. We're troubleshooting, doing all those things. And the only way to learn that is by like working with your enroller. You need to work so closely with them. 100%. And part of working with her was that she was coaching me to message the people that were putting up HAPs about being a distributor. And I'm pretty sure that's how I signed my first few. I did sign up my husband. He was my first distributor. And then my next distributor, actually, I think my next 2 or 3 distributors were people that had posted for me. So obviously that is what boxed myself for Ruby, and HAPs were just exploding. I was signing customers like crazy. At the time, I think it was like a shopping spree is what we earned when we signed ourselves. 6 customers. It was 6 customers. We didn't have to sign any distributors. You assigned 6 customers and you got a $200 shopping spree on our website, which again, for me, joining this to afford the product was a big deal because then when I signed up Chris, we did the same thing. I earned his shopping spree and got another $200 of product for free. And kind of through that and sharing my weight loss journey, sharing me using the products, really getting out of my comfort zone. I was doing videos in my story. I was doing lives. I think I actually went back and shared a story. I think it was like one of the first ones I did. And I was like, oh my God, like this is so bad. But like it worked. Like that's where I was at the time. And it was just real. You know what I mean? People like real. And I was just honest with people, what I was doing, what was working. And yeah, following the training and screenshots. That's what took me to Ruby.
I totally forgot so many of those things. It's been like ultimately start at the beginning, but when a couple of years passes, you're like, oh yeah. I just remember that you were like, do you think I could make $100? You were so nervous. I just remember you sounded so nervous. And I was like, you can make it in your first week or you can make it in a month. The speed is up to you. And I think you were like, okay. And then you were just like, let's go. And you just started getting out the host pose. I just remember being like, holy cow, I'm so overwhelmed with screenshots. But that just goes to show you guys, coach your people, take the time, send your enroller the screenshots. If you're feeling stuck with conversations, they probably know some scripting you can switch. And she was just like on it. And yeah, it just kept going.
Like I'm very money motivated. So when you told me that there was a $15,000 bonus on the line to just keep doing what I was doing, I was like, okay, how do we get there? What do I need to do for that?
I think it wasn't until you signed your first distributor and you got the shopping sprees, and then I'm like, well, now now the next step.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just so crazy that you started for $100 and you earned that $15,000 bonus. So I was going to ask you, because I know that you did Diamond, like pretty much you were just going and enrolling. So for anyone who's out there that's like, oh, I really want Diamond, but my team's not really working, you really just have to keep enrolling until you find the people who are eager. Some will work, some won't. So just know that that's really, really normal. But I know you signed distributors. So would you say, like, what's your biggest tip on signing distributors outside of HAPS? Maybe like a customer or a conversation tip, or any tips for signing distributors?
Yeah, so probably a few. So number one is being consistent with your posting. And if you're new, what the business is going to do for you. Are you going to go buy your groceries? Are you going to, pay your cell phone bill? Are you going to save to buy a house, right? When we are posting and people are reading things, they are thinking about themselves. I think I was reading something, someone was talking about posting about a vacuum, okay? A vacuum. They were trying to sell a vacuum. What are people thinking about? They're thinking about picturing themselves using this vacuum. They don't care that you are using this vacuum necessarily, but they're picturing themselves doing it, right? So we need to make sure that we are being, I'll say like attractive marketing. So letting people know, like, look, these are my goals. These are my aspirations. These are the things that this business is going to do for me. And if you've been in the business a while, share what it has done. I know a story that always like hits my heart is Dana Gervais. She always shares Allie's story about when she got a really big bonus and she just videoed the groceries all around her house. It gives me a chills just talking about it, but that was so real, right? And people are going to connect to that. People want to know who you are. People want to know what you're doing. What are you into? What's your life like, right? We're on social media. They want to follow you because you're positive, or they look for your post every single morning. Oh, what's Shannon doing today? Oh, what is she doing tomorrow? I actually I don't get a lot of people messaging me randomly for distributors. It's mostly me going out messaging them. But I actually had someone message me this week that was literally like, hey, I've been watching your journey. I scrolled back. I've been friends with this girl since like December of 2020. Okay. So she's been watching my journey for a very long time. And she was like, I've seen how much you've changed, how much the business did for you. I want that. I think I'm ready for this now. Da da da. So again, people are watching. Like, you never know. She's never liked or commented on anything. So stay consistent with your posting and make it real. Make it about you. There's so many like pre-done posts out there that you can copy paste, but don't do that every day. Write some stuff about you, share about your life. Don't always make it about the business, right? Again, people follow us for who we are. And then my next biggest tip, I think, for signing distributors is to make sure that you're making it about them. I know a lot of times we get focused on our own goals and boxes that we need to fill on our charts and all those things, but ultimately we are doing this so that we can help them change their life. So if someone was talking at me and saying like, oh, you need to do this business because it's going to do such and such and such, and you're going to do blah, blah, blah. And the whole time I'm thinking about, oh, I need her to sign. I need her to sign. I need to fill this box. You need to do this, da, da, da. But if you change that whole tone of how you're talking to someone and saying, what do you need? What do you want from this business? How much income are you looking to make from this? How much time do you need to put forwards? What is this going to do for you? Almost like making a dream board for them before they even get started, right? You need to set the tone, set that vision that they can see where this is going to go. That, like my small vision of saying I only wanted $100, right? We need to set that vision bigger for them, letting them know, hey, yeah, that's possible, but what else could this do for you?
Yes, that's so, so, so true. And I know there was a question in the chat that said, I get all the way through the conversation and then they say that they can't afford it. And I think what Shannon just said, to know that that's normal, because so many people are really broke right now with the cost of living and expenses of life. So that is normal. But at the same time, when you do what Shannon said, you say, how much do you want to make? Like, how can this make a change for you? Like, what are your goals? And get them to start their own dream board. And people who can't afford it, I used to get so scared. And they're like, they're going to say that it's too expensive. Thankfully, we have the 129 kit option now. However, I always go in with, there's multiple solutions. You can save for it. Do you have a date in mind that you want to start? I know that there's a lot of women out there that will put something on the buy and sell. It's just that one-time investment that we need. So you can do that. You can put it on a credit card, just like I did. Or you can pre-sell. It takes a push in those first 3 days to pre-sell some of the product that you get, and ultimately that will cover the cost. Which one works for you? And kind of giving them options so that they know it's not like, okay, I can't afford it, so the answer is no. Anyways, if they're complaining that it is without, even if it's not the cheapest, split payments are only available in the US. It's someone who isn't ready yet. They will be ready when they need it, and you give them options. They know that they have those options, and if not, we just continue to work our business and move forward. Ultimately, they have to make that decision. Anyways,
sometimes, sorry, Jess, I'm just gonna pop in there too. Sometimes I explain to people too how that 129 kit is. People are pretty much paying $3 to become a distributor, because if you were to buy a bottle of gummies and a bottle of Thermophyte, it's 126. So to become a distributor, you're paying $3. So you're getting the product, and then you're also having that opportunity to start making more income with it. And the other side of that is that there's no commitments as a distributor versus a customer. Now they can either pay that $25.95 or they have to do 3 months. So ultimately, it's actually cheaper to become a distributor than it is to become a customer for those two products. So sometimes it's just putting things into perspective. I find people determine the value, right? What is it worth to them? What do they see that's valuable from it, right? And again, that comes from talking to them, sharing with them your story, your own goals, and showing them that it is worth the money.
Yeah, so true. I never even thought about saying it's only $3 extra. I always just say I have my own scripting, but I like that. I'm stealing it.
Yeah.
Okay, so what
Mhm.
else did I write down? I think one of the big things too, when you first started, and still to this day, is that you were like the most consistent person. I'm like, here's the list of what we do each day. And they're like, how's it going? And you're like, I got my list done. I'm just messaging. So you were just like, okay, the core four: post, story, send the messages, add the people, follow up. And she was just like, oh, that's what I do. And she just did it. And then she did as much of it and she just kept doing it. So I know that's why so many enrollments came in so quickly and ultimately, obviously, still do. Okay, so I know this is one of the big things for a lot of us is that once we sign the distributor, ultimately, once they're enrolled, how do you set them up for success? Now that you're in a leadership position, obviously you've got training tips. So how do you launch your people?
Yeah. So the first thing that I want to say about this is that we cannot force or make people start. Okay. Track record, like sometimes I would even say it's 1 out of 3 that distributors that I sign that actually even start the training. So don't feel bad if you feel like you've signed some people and they ghost you. You just need to sign more. I always preach that our business is a numbers game. And it's even once you've signed distributors that it's again a numbers game. You got to keep signing more if you want to find those people that are willing to work and willing to start doing the training. So obviously over the years, our training has changed multiple times. And last November, I kind of revamped what we do when we first get people started. And we actually just started something else new this week. Again, just collaboration from different leaders is I really, really recommend. Talk to other people on other teams, even like if you guys are on the Zoom, perfect. Listen to what other people are doing. Take it, put it into what you're doing. So to go back a bit, last year, I created my own 5 days of training. I kind of laid everything out step by step. Like what day 1, I have them do like a post and have them get into eSuite. Day 2, we are putting up a gummies post to see who from their network is going to come. Day 3, I go into HAPS because HAPS is so, so important. Day 4, we kind of talk about distributors. Day 5, we go over the KPIs. Oh, thanks, Nancy. I was just seeing some like some comments pop up. The KPIs so that you know what you're doing. After those 5 days, we get them put into our team chats. So that's kind of part of our push through it as well, is we keep encouraging them like, hey, how's it going? Like, I know we're on day 3. I can't wait. Only 2 more days and you're going to get into our team group chats. It's such an amazing community of women to be a part of. We cheer each other on. You know, there's a prize in a sense at the end of those 5 days that they're getting into. So that is kind of helpful. Often I find messaging them is what I really, really, really try to get them to message me. I'm like, you need to message me every day, especially at this point, because I have such a large team and so many people, I could never remember to message them all myself. So I do try to let them know, message me every single day when you're ready and we will keep going. If I haven't heard from someone in a few days, then I'm probably in their inbox saying, okay, how's it going? Let's go. Let's go. And so after I created these boards, things were going pretty well, but I had a lot of people still asking like a lot of questions and not understanding how to do things. So what I did was I had created videos and I shared my screen and showed them exactly what to do through each step. So if you are new, obviously you're probably not going to create videos, but guess what? You can get on a call with them. If you're new and you're signing like maybe 1, 2 distributors a month, I guarantee that you have the time to get on a video call with them. And again, share your screen and show them what you're doing. A lot of people are visual learners. Like I'm going to say more than half are visual. Yeah, right. Me too. I like seeing things. I am not auditory at all. So many times Chris and I will be talking and I'm like, hey, I didn't get that. You're really going to have to repeat that again. So seeing seeing is such a big thing. I also am trying to get on calls with people usually around the day 2-3 mark, whether it be a phone call, whether it be a video call, so that they see my face. They see a real person that they can ask any questions maybe that have come up. Maybe some people have already poo-pooed what they're doing, and they just need me to talk them through that and encourage them to keep going, and letting them know where it's going. So the new thing that we started this week is obviously they are getting into team chats once they're done those 5 days, mostly because our team chats, I'm going to say, would be overwhelming for a new person. They're going to say, what's a PM? Why are people talking about this? What are they talking about? What's this? And they're going to back right off. They are going to be so confused. They're not going to know what's happening. So what we did this week, though, is that sense of community. We want that for our new people as soon as they start. So we started a newbie group chat, which is just for the people that are working through those 5 days of training. And we actually have a whole bunch of polls in there. They can check off as they've done each step in each day. They can check off when they've done the day. So as enrollers, we can watch and see what they're doing, right? We're going to know where they're at. They can ask questions. I can send the graphics of these Zooms in there. It just seems to reach them better than just posting in team pages. I find a lot of things in the team pages get missed. So this newbie chat has actually been going really, really well. And then the whole goal is once they get through those 5 days, they get taken out of this newbie chat and put into the full team chat. So there is still that, I'll say, pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. But it's forming that sense of community right from the beginning, which I think a lot of people join for that, right? We don't even realize it sometimes, but as moms, we get so consumed with being only a mom that we lose who we are. And I found that being part of this community, I get to be Shannon again. Nobody knows me as Finley and Paisley's mom. I am Shannon. And so we are trying to cultivate that right from the moment that they sign up. We're welcoming them into this group chat, and kind of rolling from there. Did I miss anything that you asked there, Jess?
Dana had asked, do you launch only your new distributors, or do you help your new distributors launch their first distributor?
Yeah, kind of both. So it depends on how new someone is. Often we will end up in a 3-way chat that I will help coach through screenshots. Or if they are very confident, then sometimes I just kind of let them do their thing and I'll say, okay, make sure you're taking them through this step. Now see if they've done the video. Have you checked in with them? So I usually leave it kind of open because I don't want to feel like I'm overstepping and devaluing their leadership to their personally enrolled. If they would like to involve me, I am there for them and they can 3-way chat all day, like whatever they need. But if they really want to take charge and do it, then again, I'm going to let them do that.
And I think that the newbie chat that you started too is good because they have the support in there too so that they feel like they're confident in it in a sense. They're in there, they're new distributors in there, so they have the support. I think that's so good.
Yeah. Sometimes I think too, it's like when we do like our opportunity group chats, it's like, oh, other people are in here. Other people are doing this too. It's not just me. Oh, other people are actually completing the steps. Wait, maybe I should do that too. And you feel again, like less alone, like, oh, other people are doing it. I'm going to do it too. Like, let's go, let's work together. And I think it just, again, generates more of that team mentality.
And I know for me, when I first started, I was so nervous to ask a silly question. And then someone else would ask it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I needed the answer to that. So I feel like it's good because, you get a variety and you do get the simplicity of the community without being overwhelmed with all these people that know a lot and are talking about all the things you don't know about, and then it feels overwhelming or discouraging. This is just like basics, which I love. Okay, so after they sign a distributor, I was going to ask you, how do you get them to train their newbies? 3-way coaching calls, you went over. Whoop, whoop. Okay, so once they sign their first distributor, you want to help them go Ruby, right? Just like how when you and I started, we're like, okay, we're going to go for, signing your first distributor, getting that, getting that, well, back then it was a shopping spree. Now it's the 4-in-1 bonus. So once they get one, you know, casting that vision and saying, okay, well, let's go for 3 and get you that quick start or bank it bonus, and that'll set you up for Ruby. So like, how are you walking through that process, casting that vision? Do you give them leadership tasks? Do you go through charting? What do you do to kind of set them up?
I would say a mix of things, but right off the bat, I'm getting on another Zoom call with them like I did previously. And I'm sharing my screen and I'm showing them a chart. I'm showing them how it works. I'm showing them what a 400 box is. And honestly, I start out with executive. I feel like executive always gets missed. Poor executives. But that's where I start to explain like what a 400 bucks is, because there's no group volume, right? So it makes sense. And I am very digital. I don't have a lot of things written down except for my planner. My planner is the only thing that I write things down. So I'm able to draw on the charts while I'm talking to people on my tablet. So it's actually really cool because I can write, okay, here's a line from here. Okay, this is 400. Okay, this person does this and they sign a distributor, but guess what? They still total 400. So they're good. And I put like a big check mark. I'm like, that's a 400 bucks. You're good to go. And making sure that you're asking them if they have questions as you're going through, because again, this is another new thing. They've just gotten used to maybe signing customers, getting HAPs up, following those KPIs. Now it's another new step through with them. So yeah, we go through charting. I do give, so this is where I'm trying to come up with new tasks because what we do is we do run a group chat. So once people have done those 5 days of training, which gives them a post and a story and everything, obviously they aren't getting a post and a story and know maybe where to find them and all that sort of thing. So we have a separate chat that is just for the daily tasks is what we call them. And we do a poll, we do a post, we do a story. And what I've done is I have gotten some of the newer leaders on my team to be responsible for one day of the week. So there's 7 different leaders. Each of them post a different day of the week. Recently, obviously, as our team is growing and we're getting more and more leaders, we are rotating people out and giving people different jobs. So this is where I've had to be a little bit creative, I'll say, but it's taken things off my plate. So it's been so nice. Like recently, I can tell you, Sabrina, I can see she's on here. She used to do one of the days, but now she does the whole calendar. So I don't even make up the calendar for the tasks that we're doing, right? So took that off my plate. And Sabrina, I'll say kind of like graduated. She graduated from doing just the daily task to making the calendar. There's a few other people that I have, I'll say graduated, and now they're doing a live in our team page once a week. So it's just learning different ways to keep your team involved. Because that's what it is. It's a team. Like, yeah, you could say like, oh, it's my team and what I want to do and whatever, but it's not a team. There is no I in team. I was thinking about this in the car earlier today, right? You have to work together. It's so nice when you can collaborate with your team. Say, what do you guys need? What do you guys like? What do you guys feel like is missing? What can we do differently that's going to set you up better for success? So I like bringing leaders together, asking their opinions on things. Sometimes when we're changing scripts, which feels like a lot in the past 6 to 8 months, there's been a lot of script changes. So it's, again, bringing everyone together and saying, what do you guys think of this script? Do you like this? Would you want to change anything? And again, just making sure that everyone feels heard and that everyone's opinions are valued and that they are involved, that they're invested in what we're doing as a team in the direction that we're going.
I have a question about that too.
Yeah.
And honestly, you guys, I enrolled Shannon, but she's taught me so much about leadership that I was like, why didn't I think of that? I've had like 5 uplines leave. So it's hard for someone who's trying to figure it out. And ultimately collaborating, like she said, talk to other leaders, ask other leaders what they're doing. I might be a step behind, but that's okay because I'm always learning. So when you're having someone step up in leadership, you just say, hey, I'm looking for someone to do, the Monday post of the week. Would you be up for that? Like, are you asking them and then people say no, you kind of pass it on, you just wait for them when they're ready? Because I know lots of people are scared and they're like, no, it's not for me. Like, what do you do to encourage someone to step up in leadership?
Yeah, To be honest, I think there's maybe only ever been one person that said no. I think because they see it every day. And I let them know in the message when we're asking them, like, hey, we're able to give you all the resources. So the calendar that I was telling you about is Sabrina writes down every single day what kind of post needs to be posted for the team and what kind of story. So it would say, like, oh, we're doing a product post and we're doing a thermophyte story. The next day is going to say, oh, we're doing a giveaway post and we're doing a gummy story. So it does give them a lot of direction still. And then we're also getting that variety of posts, especially when it's someone different posting the tasks every single day. So that we're not like duplicating. Like you don't have to go through and see, oh, what did they post yesterday? So that I'm not posting like the same sort of thing and the variety in it. So I think they feel confident and set up that they know what to do. And they also know that we will coach them through it. We have such good open communication and like an open space for questions. That I would like to think that people feel like they can ask whatever they need to ask. But yeah, I have had people say, oh my gosh, I don't know if I could do it. Right. And it's like, no, honestly, it's so simple. I'm going to show you where you can find posts, where you can find stories. And it's good. I've actually had recently more people asking to do more things than I can find for people to do. So people are enjoying getting involved and being part of it.
I love that. And, you know, they're ultimately stepping up in their leadership.
Yes.
I know for a really long time, it's hard. It's hard when you're trying to be a leader and trying to get other people to lead. And then sometimes we can try to do it all ourselves because you know, the leaders aren't ready yet. I know you said you've had a lot of people step up and that's, you know, that's when it all kind of comes together, but it takes the work before that to get it to that point. I remember when I used to do power hours and it would be me, or it would be like one or two people. I'm like, should I even be doing this? But you really just do have to pivot, try something, you know, and then I love that. I love that. Okay. I think, where did those other questions go? Okay.
Well, while you're thinking there, Jess, and we're talking about chats, I can say something else that we've been doing lately too. Is so obviously my team has grown quite a bit, and I have quite a few like legs, right? You're going to call them across the board with different leaders that are leading differently again across the board. So we have our one like full team chat, which again is so big now that I think some people did feel uncomfortable asking questions because there's, I don't know, maybe like 50 or 60 people in this chat. So I recently also broke it down that each leg has their own chat and the top leader in that leg leads that chat. I am not in it. So again, it's like giving the leaders on your team the space to lead how they want to lead. They might lead differently than you, and that's okay. So like Crystal has her own team chat. Even my personally enrolled that I have placed under her, they are in her chat. I am letting her lead them because they're all going in a common direction, right? They're all working together for a common goal. Because obviously like their enrollments don't affect another leg that's on the same team, right? But that's where the main group chat still comes together. So we're all still collaborating, even though we have now these separate teams. But again, it makes that smaller, more intimate space again, I think, where people can ask the questions maybe that scare them to ask. And yeah, so I found that making those smaller team chats and letting the leaders lead has also been really, really great. I saw Crystal commenting, so I know she likes it too.
Yeah, she says she even does her own contests for everyone that's in there and everything. So it's stepping up in that leadership, Crystal. Okay, so once someone ultimately hits Ruby, so we're kind of going through like the layers of leadership as we do this and duplication from Ruby. Okay, how do you get someone past Ruby? Because I know that I've been in my place in my business where I can never get anyone to promote past Ruby. So again, how do you help well, I know we kind of went over how to encourage them to step up in their own leadership, but also helping them lead their own people and go to diamond? Do you have any tips on how to help them go past that?
Yeah, so I think a lot of it is instilling confidence in their own leadership. I know for a long time, just like what you're saying, I was like, nobody on my team is promoting. So I went diamond in May of 2020. I started in 2020. Yeah, May of 2020. And took Chris's account diamond the month after. I did not have a single promotion on my team. So that would have been June of 2020 until, oh man, I think it might have been December of like last year. So what's that? December of 2022. So that's like over 2 years of not a single ruby popping out of anywhere. So I doubted my own leadership like so much. And a big part of that was self-development. And I love Craig Rochelle. I know my team hears me talk about Craig Rochelle all the time. And a big part of it too was that was when I had earned that Winter Wonderland trip and collaboration with other leaders. I cannot even explain the difference that that trip made to hearing what other leaders were doing with their teams, and different ideas, and just bounce. Like my brain was mush after that weekend from so much information that I was like trying to figure out how to process and how I was going to bring it back to everyone. So it's getting to those in-person events, right? It's getting to conference. It's getting to green carpet. Yes, Dana, that trip was fire. I can't even like, and it's earning the Jamaica trips, right? Like get to those in-person events. I know too, we have the smaller, like we are ones. Go to them, guys. Feel the fire from your teammates and the one team, one mission sort of thing, right? Collaborate. What are they doing? And again, getting on other teams' trainings. I also always do coaching calls at the beginning of the month. So if someone has gone Ruby, the following month, we are looking at an Emerald chart. Often we're even one chart ahead because they're already boxed. If someone is boxed for Ruby, but they haven't hit it yet, we are looking at an Emerald chart because we need to figure out where those next distributors are going that they are signing. And so it's good when you have a plan together, right? Because then they feel like they know what they need to do. Like we've planned together. Okay, so the next distributor that I sign has to get moved under this person. So that's what's going to happen, right? They have goals, small missions. And again, that is getting them there and still just letting them know what got you here is what's going to get you there. You just have to keep going, keep enrolling, right? That's the biggest thing. Keep up with your haps, keep up with your posting, just keep rolling, and bringing those new people in.
Sweet. Yes. And I remember going over charting and us doing our coaching calls at the beginning of the month. And it is really, guys, like the power of duplication, and getting everyone on coaching calls, figuring out, okay, what happened last month? Anything that we need to change? Anything that you're feeling discouraged about? Okay, what are some things that we can switch? Okay, that leg's not working. We're going to replace, we're going to do some replacing. How's that leader doing with her, with her team, and kind of going all the way down the chain and being like, okay, have you done your coaching calls with your people now? And then they do it with theirs, and everybody is kind of on the same page. I think we're getting down to our last questions. So any tips in general and or like organization on how to rank up and or promote?
Yeah, honestly, it's the biggest thing is just stay involved, right? I think the saying is that your team will do 50% of what you are doing. So if you are only getting up 10 haps in a month, your team is probably only getting up 5. So that is nowhere near enough what you need to be doing to promote. We even upped our team contest this month, and people have to get 60 haps up to earn one of my little prizes that I do. So that to me is like your goal for the month. Everyone should be earning one of those little prizes, because 60 haps is what you need to promote. And again, think about your team's going to do half of that. So you need to lead from the front. You need to be the person that is so something that Craig Groeschel says is that you don't motivate, you inspire. Okay. You can't motivate necessarily people to do things. You can incentivize them, right? We do contests, we do all that sort of thing. But the key is that you are going to inspire people, right? When they see what you're doing. That's the same as signing distributors, right? You're not going to motivate people to sign up. You're going to inspire them because they want what you're doing. And yeah, I think that's my last biggest tip.
And I think it's so true too, because every time you post, every time you're adding to your story, you're putting up something personal. Your team is watching you. You're literally inspiring them to take action every day. You're talking about the struggles. You're talking about the vision. You're talking about all the things. So they're literally, if they're following you, which they probably started the business because they followed you. So that's why consistency is important as well. And then for HAPS, it's so funny because I remember when you and I chatted and we were like, what goal should we make? Is like 30 too much? Because some people were only doing 10. So we're like, okay, we'll set it 30 because we want to set a realistic expectation. And then people were doing 30. So we're like, well, we should make it 40. We should make it 40. And I'm like, why are we setting small goals for our team when like we want them to achieve success? We're going to do, we're going to set that goal for 50 plus. And if you do it twice, you win 2 prizes. So like it pushes them to still go past 50 if they are really go-getter, but then they can still do, what is good for them.
Yes. And a lot of times your team will rise to the occasion. Like you were saying, you and I were like, oh my gosh, like what is too much? But I can remember, I think it was last October. I think my team prize was like, if they did 10 HAPs, okay, 10. And like, guess what? People did 10 and then they stopped, or that was their goal for the month was to get 10. Guess what? That is not enough. So I know we raised it high, we raised it higher, and people are rising to the occasion because they're like, okay, so that's the expectation. That's what I need to do. I don't just need 10 HAPs in a month. I need at least 60 HAPs in the month. And I'm just watching the chat too. I don't necessarily do a number of HAPs every day. I have a monthly goal and I kind of go by the flow of business. I'll say I mass HAP. So I'll get up like 10 HAPs in one day. And let's say they're all giveaways. Obviously, I can't even message all of those people. So probably the next day, I'm not getting up any HAPs because I'm still have people to message. So your business is still flowing and moving forwards. When you get to the point where you're sitting there and you're like, I don't have anyone to message. I've done my follow-ups. I've done this. You need some more HAPs. It is time to again, keep that flow rolling again. And yes, Facebook HAP is my number one enrollment platform. I don't think I've ever enrolled anyone from Instagram. I don't think so. And I have one distributor that signed up from TikTok, which is so funny because when I asked her what TikTok she saw, it has 7 views. So you never know who is watching. But yes, definitely Facebook HAP is my number one enrollment platform.
I love that. Crystal said she won so many prizes. I think that's one of the things that I love is that we incentivize our people. It used to be you have to enroll and get a boom, but there could be someone who enrolled 1 person and then there could be someone who enrolled 10 people and that 1 person that enrolled 1 would win. So the way that we do our contest is you're literally competing against yourself. Like you have to get up 50. It's not everyone else is getting the HAPs and you slide in your couple. You really are. And I feel like that's one of the reasons why we've had so many promotions is because we did raise the standard with realistic expectations of what action steps to take each day. And then a combination of other things too. And I know for me, I'm usually not super money driven, but I'm not a red personality by any means. However, when I see someone else get a HAP up, or get an enrollment or something else, it's like, it's like fuels my freaking, like they're in the chats that we have going on. It's like, boom, customer. It creates like a FOMO in me almost where I don't feel discouraged about it. It like fires me up like, yes, Kate, let's do it.
Yeah. You're inspired, Jess.
Inspired, yes. When you do host a post, do you always mention the giveaway?
It depends. It depends where I'm asking them from. So I do a lot of giveaway posts. Well, not a lot. Usually maximum once a week, I do a giveaway post on my wall. Because of the network that I've built, I do usually get quite a few posts from that. If I feel like I have run out of people from giveaway happs or giveaway posts, then I'm just messaging people that have liked or commented on my other random posts, and I am not mentioning the giveaway. So I have learned two things from this. I think two things. Number one is that there are a lot of people that don't comment on the giveaway post because they think it's gimmicky. They don't think the money is real, blah, 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 blah. And number two is that they don't need the money probably. So they're not going to comment. So they have never posted. But guess what? If they don't need the money, they have friends that don't need the money. So you want those people to be posting for you. So I have gone to my other posts. So like we're building our house right now, right? So those posts usually get quite a bit of interaction. And a lot of them are from people that have never commented on a giveaway post. I literally just message them saying, hey, thanks so much for the love and support on my page that you've given me. I'm going for a big bonus or big promotion this month. My business is built entirely off of referrals. Would it be okay if I sent you a post to put on your wall for me? It would mean the world. And I don't even mention the giveaway. And I can't tell you how many people have said yes to this. If you want, I can share my exact script in the chat here. And again, then you're getting different people posting for you, and you're getting into networks that are going to say yes because again, they have money. If that makes sense. I had one person post for me, and literally all 15 commenters ordered. And that was because I sent this message to them and they didn't even know. I still enter them into the giveaway. I'm not going to lie. I still put their names in because I feel like I just need to do that for them. I just don't tell them. So I'm like, well, if they happen to win, then they would happen to win. So that's exciting for them. But no, so don't always mention the giveaway. And then going back, Jess, what you were talking about, like our team contests and stuff, I like that we can only control what we do. We cannot control the outcome of how other people will respond. So that's again why I like so many of our things are based on what we are personally doing. You need to send X number of messages. You can do that. You are responsible for yourself. You can send those messages. We can't control who's going to answer. We can't control if every single person is going to leave you on red. But numbers game wise, if you consistently send those messages and are doing the things, results will come, results will flow. But you have to keep yourself accountable to do the things for the outcomes to come.
And I think one of the good things is setting those goals at the beginning of the month. How many haps am I going to get up a day? And when you break them down, you guys, even a small number adds up to a lot. 3 haps a day is 100 host posts, 100, 3 a day. So I know a lot of people, encourage 10 a day. It depends on your goal. If you want to reach diamond and you have a large goal, push for 10 a day. But ultimately, consistency is key. 3 a day is 100. If you're wanting to rank up and you're doing that and your team's doing that, they're doing 100, you're doing 100, they're doing 100, it all adds up together. And I know there's one last question in the chat and we're going to end in our last question is, I know that Shannon does product hacks typically, and then she just product and giveaway, and then she just offers the business to everybody.
Yes. So obviously these people that I'm reaching out to that did not comment on a giveaway hack, I'm giving them product, right? Because I want their friends to comment. Plus they're in my network after their friends comment anyways. And then otherwise, lots and lots of giveaways. I know at like the beginning of my business, when I was growing from Ruby to Emerald, I did a lot of distributor haps as well. Those were working well. I know right now we need to be very careful with the wording and the things that are compliant. So I am not doing a lot of distributor haps. Most of my distributors are from cold messages or warm messages. They've viewed a story, or I've just found them on my page randomly, or all those different things. But yeah, so I only do giveaway and product taps.
Okay, Shannon, last question.
Yeah.
I'm gonna share my recommendations for self-development, but ultimately, what would you recommend for someone who best recommendations on leadership? And
Yeah. So 100% Craig Rochelle. I'm going to mention him again. He is my favorite, and he has like over 100, maybe even 200 podcast episodes. And so for me, what works is listening, but I also, I listen in the car while I'm driving my son to daycare in the morning. So I'm killing two birds with one stone, because life is busy and you just need to like get things done. And I don't very often have time to sit down and read. But obviously, as I'm listening, like I said, I'm not really an auditory retainer. I will pause his podcast and speak like voice to text in my phone to take notes as we're going along. So figure out things that are going to work for you. That time management, you're going to use your time the wisest. And Ashley Mayfield, I love Ashley Mayfield's podcast. Hers is called The High Achieving Woman. Books wise, I know Maxwell. What's it? Is it
John Maxwell?
Yes, John Maxwell is really, really great. When I was early on in business, just like developing myself, not necessarily leadership. You Are a Badass is one of my favorite books. Girl Wash Your Face is one of my favorite books. And find what works for you. If it's reading a book, if it's listening to a book, if it's watching a YouTube video, if it's watching a training like this, whatever is going to engage you to retain and go out and do what you've learned. Because we can learn all that we can, but if you don't put it into action, it doesn't change anything.
I think that's so true. And I really do want to touch on self-development, you guys. Hopefully these last two little things will, I hope, inspire you. Inspiration seems to be the word. Keeps popping up. When I first started working my business, I went Ruby, and I essentially stayed at Ruby. I got my husband's account to Ruby for years. I didn't want to say I refuse to do self-development, but I'm one of those people. I'm like, well, if it's not income producing, like, what is reading a book really going to do for me? What is journaling really going to do for me? And then I got to the breaking point where I was like, what am I not doing? Why can't I rank up? Why can't I promote? And I reached out to a leader, and she's like, what are you doing for leadership self-development? And I was like, well, I'm not. And she was like, start doing it now. And I was like, you know what? I'm like determined, and I need to make a decision. So I'm gonna do it. I will do it. And I started journaling, and it's funny because I keep my journal. So like when I go back and I like read, and it went from like, I am an amazing leader. I didn't think I was an amazing leader, but I would like write that affirmations to myself. I am a mass enroller. I am organized. I am consistent. I am. And I would tell myself my leadership qualities that I wanted in myself. And then I read 11 self-development books in 3 months. And then Shannon signed and I went diamond. And then 11 months later, and I just kept doing leadership self-development. And then I went double diamond. And then I got my 2.0 account to diamond. And it really is, you guys, and I still journal. So at C La Vie last year, I wrote on the wall, I will sign 10, there will be 10 diamonds on my team in 2023, and I will go presidential. And we're halfway through volume for presidential. I think we've got 4 rubies on my team. They haven't been under me directly, but that is okay. I didn't be specific enough with my goals, I guess. But you guys, I was journaling. We are a top Ruby building team. Right at the beginning of the year, I wrote down all the things. We're a top Ruby building team. We're doing this. We're doing this. And every year when I go back and I read through like my journals, it really is, what is that called? Manifesting. Yeah. You're creating the small daily actions that lead to the long-term big goals. Get a journal. Start journaling what you want for your goals. Do the self-development. Listen, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, read a chapter, any small things, and then like do a lot of it. You would be surprised how much you learn in leadership when you're like, oh, I should do that. Oh, I should talk to this person this way. Or, oh, we can do this together. if you're not a natural leader, I was not a natural leader, you really do have to go to school for leadership, and self-development is the way to do it. So we have chatted, hopefully giving you guys lots of value. Shannon, you know that I appreciate you a ton. I love you.
And I appreciate you, Jess. Like we said, my journey never would have started or gotten to where we are without you. So
yeah. And I want to say thank you for everyone who popped on too, and just know that you are an amazing leader and you can invoke leadership in your team as well, and just keep going for it. All right, you guys.
Thanks,
have an
Jess.
awesome night, and we'll see you later.
Bye.
Thanks, ladies.